Hi, this is Joanne Hayes, nurse practitioner and director of the diabetes clinic in primary care at APD. This is just a very quick review for providers so that you have a good understanding of the data that's being copied into your notes for patients with continuous glucose monitors, and also to have a sense of what to look for in those reports, when it might be a good idea to dig deeper than those reports, and how to dig deeper. And then we will do, for the 100th time, how to bill for this service. So just a quick review that what's being copied into your notes is the AGP report, also known as the ambulatory glucose profile. I want to point out here that the AGP is just 2 weeks of data. And it's the most recent 2 weeks of data. At least that's what we're training people to copy into your note. And this is the whole report. I think you're all familiar with this top part, which is going through the overall picture. But I want to draw your attention down to the very bottom of the report, which is the daily graph. These are done in little small 2-inch squares. And it's important to look down here because then you can really see where the lows are. So this patient doesn't have lows and this patient does have lows. And I've circled all the places where she crosses below the 70 mark. She also has lows noted up in her overall report at 3%. Sometimes patients will have 0% up there, but if you look down here, you'll still see some lows. And the reason is because in order to get to a percentage level, you have to have crossed a threshold of a certain amount of time that you are in a low. And that's a minimum of 15 minutes in a low event. So the staff will also be copying into your note low reports. They won't be copying it if there are no low events, but if they go in and they see that there are low events, they will copy that into the note as well. And this is an example of the Dexcom. So again, you see the 2-week time frame up here. This is the overall report. And then down here, you see the daily graph. And I've circled on this day here when that person crossed below the 70 mark. And then when there is a low event, the staff will copy in the overlay report, and you can see that low right here. Each of these lines is a separate day, and this is a Sunday, which correlates with the solid purple line. This in itself is probably not a concern, but obviously if you're seeing multiple lows, then you would want to be reviewing those with the patient. So sometimes the CGM report that you have in your notes is not enough information for you to fully understand what's going on with the patient. And times that you might need to look a little further are if the patient is having multiple lows or extreme lows, if the patient is on multiple daily shots of insulin, and you really are trying to target the individual insulin doses, you might need to look a little more closely. If the patient is asking questions about a time frame of their glucose control that is not in the current AGP report, then you might have to get in and look a little deeper. And then also if the glucose variability number or the coefficient of variation, depending on which report you're looking at, if this number is above 36%, or many people use 33% as a cutoff, I use 33% as a cutoff, more exploration is really needed. It means that the glucose management indicator number is really not a good reflection of diabetes control because there are such extreme highs and lows. So if you have a high variability, you really need to get in there and look a little deeper and figure out what's going on. Other reports that are available once you get into the accounts, here's a whole list on the Libre system. There's lots of different reports that you can go into. The one that I use all the time is the daily report. I find it really helpful because on the phones and on the AGP report, the daily graph is really dramatic because it's only 2 inches big and everything looks extreme. Whereas when you go in to the daily report, you get each day is sort of drawn out. You're able to see better the trends of what's going on. And then you can talk to the patient about that. And obviously with this patient, there's a lot of lows, and mostly after she gives herself mealtime insulin. So we will be talking about that. In addition, when you go into the accounts, you can change different things in the reports. So if you want to have a different time frame, you can change that as well. So what's next? So if you do not want to dig deeper, it is quite understandable. It's a lot to take on in a primary care visit, when you're also addressing other things. So if you see that the patient might need more assistance with this, then please refer to the diabetes clinic and I will really jump in with them on the CGM. If you do want to dig deeper, then you're going to need to get a little more information on how to do that. There's a video on how to access the data, and I can share that with you. And then you might want to get more training on how to interpret CGMs. And I have a good handout on that from the ADCES, and there's also really good resources online about learning about interpreting CGM. But when in doubt, please refer to us. If you really feel that the AGP report is not enough information, then refer to us and I will review that with patients. So I'm just going to take a minute here to review billing. We've done this 100 times. So just to review that you can bill for CGM interpretation every 4 weeks. And now you can bill in 3 different encounter types. You can bill in patient visits, telephone and calls, and in MyDH encounters, which just actually the MyDH encounters are not going to not be available until the 18th of December. But once that next update is done, you will be able to bill in MyDH encounters. So, and every time you interpret, it is worth 1.02 RVUs. So just a quick reminder, you go into wrap up, you choose charge capture, and then if you've already saved it, it's going to automatically come up. If not, you can just type in CGM and it will bring up the code, which is 95251. Then you have to scroll down and make sure that you hit accept charges. It does have to be linked to a diagnosis. So if you haven't put the diagnosis in yet, you'll have to do that and then link it. And that's it for now. So if you want more information about this, please let me know and we can go from there. Thanks for your attention. Have a great day.